One thing that I'm definitely going to take away from doing the New York Times journals was the top-notch debates that we had in class. I've seen some of the quietest classmates in school come alive when they've seen an article they were passionate about. And those debates came to life when we were writing our blog posts in a way that wasn't even possible a couple of years ago.
What I really love about reading the New York Times every day are the different sections that appear in it. For example, the Science Times, or the Style, or the Food sections. And it gives me something new and interesting to learn about every time I open the paper.
Being able to open the newspaper, read something, and write about it every day is something that not a lot of students get to have. I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of students at high tech never had this in their middle school, and that a lot of high schools don't incorporate it in their curriculum. The newspaper incorporates a bunch of different subjects like reading, writing, history, software apps, biology, technology, and obviously current events in one print. And reading it every day not only improves my education, but also others around me.
Reading the New York Times has really been good for me because I've become a better reader and writer. And when I go home and my parents say, "Oh, have you read this article?" and I can say, "Yeah, I have," and I've just become better at knowing what's going on in the world and being more aware of what's happening.
I could read the dining section, the technology section, the style section, or the business section, and reading about all these different things has brought a lot of new information to me that I would have never been able to learn about before.
A while ago we read an article in the New York Times about an artist who created a floating Buddha, and he put it in a lake in New York. And it was called Floating Echo, and by that we were inspired to do a Twitter hashtag called #FloatingEcho, where we post pictures that we took or that other people have taken, and we would give credit to them. And these pictures would be beautiful pictures that we thought were really cool. And afterwards we thought that we shouldn't use Floating Echo because it was the artist's work, so we changed it to #ArtForMe. And Art4Me has grown because we've gotten posts from all around the world. Like, we have one example, we have some pictures from Dubai and from other countries around the world, which is really cool because we started that right here in our classroom.
The New York Times has really helped me broaden my creative writing. Even though that it's all nonfiction, we've had the opportunity to do creative responses. We've done short stories, and I do some raps. It's really fun. It's just been a really good experience.
Reading the New York Times has made me more aware of what's happening around me and made me appreciate international events. Also, it's really improved my writing.
I come from a really small town, and I grew up not knowing much about different cultures or different ways of life. It was almost like I was in a little bubble, but reading the New York Times every single morning changed that. I learned about different events and different places that I never even dreamed existed. It's amazing how much I learned from just picking up the newspaper every morning.
So some people might think that reading a newspaper article and summarizing it every day is a chore. And while something like this would make you a better reader and writer, of course, especially when you read the New York Times, it makes you more informed. It really opens your mind to a whole new world of stuff that you could have never heard about otherwise. It makes you more active as a person. It makes you more open to everything that's out there. And when you read stuff like this, it seriously gives you a better idea of what you can do to help the world. Because in order to help the world, you have to know what's going on in it. So that's why I personally feel fortunate to have the opportunity to read the New York Times every day.